They're online, they saw your message, and they didn't reply. If that instantly makes your stomach drop, this is for you, because your brain is telling you one story, but psychology is telling you another. Most people assume online plus no reply equals low interest. You think if they cared, they'd answer. That feels logical, it feels obvious, but it's incomplete, and if you react based on that assumption, you might damage something that wasn't actually broken. Here's what most people don't understand. Being online is passive, replying is active, scrolling takes almost no emotional effort, responding requires attention, thought, tone control, and sometimes emotional availability. Those are very different psychological states. Someone can have the energy to consume content, but not the energy to engage in conversation. And your brain doesn't like that explanation because it feels less personal. But let's go deeper. When someone reads your message, their brain instantly evaluates something you don't see. What does replying commit me to? Because once they respond, the interaction continues. Now they owe consistency. Now they have to maintain tone. Now they risk saying the wrong thing. For anxious thinkers, even a simple "hey" can trigger overanalysis. Did that sound cold? Should I add an emoji? What if they take this the wrong way? So they delay. Not because they don't care, but because their mind turned a small action into a mental task. And here's the twist most people miss. The longer they delay, the harder it becomes to reply, because now there's guilt. It's been 2 hours, now it's awkward. So what started as low energy becomes avoidance. That's loop number 1. But sometimes it's not anxiety, sometimes it's control, and this one is uncomfortable. In social dynamics, responsiveness signals investment. The faster you reply, the more available you appear. The slower someone replies, the less invested they seem, and less invested often feels higher value. So some people intentionally or subconsciously delay to avoid looking needy. They want to maintain emotional leverage. They don't want to feel like the one waiting. Silence becomes a strategy, not always malicious, not always calculated, but protective. If they've been hurt before, if they've felt too available in the past, they may slow down to protect their ego. Now here's where you might be sabotaging yourself. When you double text out of anxiety, you confirm the imbalance. When you withdraw dramatically, you create unnecessary tension. Both reactions are emotional, and emotional reactions give away power. But there's another layer, attachment style. People with avoidant tendencies experience closeness differently. Even healthy interest can feel overwhelming. When emotional intimacy increases, their nervous system signals create space. So they create space in subtle ways. Delayed replies, short responses, staying active online but not engaging deeply. It's not that they don't like you, it's that closeness triggers discomfort. Conversation feels intimate, and intimacy requires vulnerability. Vulnerability feels risky, so they regulate by pulling back. And here's the part that shifts everything. Your interpretation decides the outcome. If you interpret silence as rejection, you'll respond with insecurity. If you interpret silence as information, you'll respond with clarity. Silence always tells you something. It tells you about their emotional capacity, their communication style, their level of comfort, but it does not automatically tell you your worth. Read that again. It does not automatically tell you your worth. Now let's close the biggest loop. What should you actually do? First, stop measuring interest by speed alone. Consistency over time matters more than response time in a moment. Second, match energy calmly, not as a game, as alignment. If someone consistently takes hours, you don't need to respond in minutes. Third, observe patterns, not incidents. One delayed reply means nothing. A consistent pattern means something. And finally, don't chase clarity through pressure. If someone is interested, space will not erase that. If someone is not interested, pressure will not create it. When you stop reacting emotionally to delayed replies, you remove the drama. And when the drama disappears, people reveal their real intentions quickly. The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. Sometimes they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they're anxious. Sometimes they're protecting their ego. Sometimes they're avoidant. and sometimes they're just not that invested. But your job isn't to decode every silence. Your job is to respond in a way that protects your own stability, because the most attractive position in any dynamic is emotional steadiness. So next time someone is online and doesn't reply, don't immediately ask, "Why am I not enough?" Ask instead, "What does replying cost them right now?" That question keeps you calm, and calm is power. What about you? Do you reply instantly or take your time? Or have you ever been on the other side of the table? Share your experience in the comments and subscribe to keep on learning how we live psychologically.